All right, welcome to The Explainer. Let's talk about something. Have you ever been on a project that, it finished, but it just didn't feel like a win? Today, we're going to unpack that secret ingredient, the thing that separates truly successful projects from the ones that just kind of limp across the finish line. And that secret is project governance.
Yeah, let's really dig into that question. What is the difference between a finished project and a successful one? Because we've all seen it, haven't we? The project gets marked done, the team moves on, but did it actually deliver on its promise? Was it a real success, or was it just over? Well, the answer really is effective governance. And the difference is so much more than just ticking off a bunch of boxes on a checklist. It's about having this strong guiding framework that takes what could be a messy, tangled effort and turns it into a clear, direct path to success. And that framework, that bridge from total chaos to real value, that's governance. Okay, so let's really get into it. The first thing we need to do is establish what the real goal is. I mean, it is so easy to get lost in the weeds, right? You're buried in tasks, timelines, and budgets, but we have to remember to look up and see the bigger picture. And this right here, this is the fundamental truth. The whole point of any project is to create positive value that actually justifies the investment. It's not just about building a thing, it's about making absolutely sure that whatever you build creates enough positive impact to make all that time, money, and effort totally worth it. I absolutely love this quote from the PMBOK guide because it just cuts right through all the noise. It's a fantastic reminder that all those things we tend to obsess over, the schedules, the detailed plans, the endless reports, they're just tools. They're not the goal. Their real job is to get everyone pointed in the exact same direction, focused on the one thing that truly matters: delivering value. So if delivering value is our destination, our North Star, then you can think of governance as the ship's navigation system. It's the whole framework that keeps us on course, helps us make those crucial adjustments when we hit rough seas, and, basically ensures we don't get completely lost along the way. Okay, so here's the more formal definition. But seriously, don't let the official sounding language throw you. This is not about adding red tape or micromanaging people into the ground. It's about having a smart, intentional system where every single decision is laser focused on one simple question: how do we get the most possible value out of this project? So what does that actually do in practice? Well, we can break it down into a few core functions. First, it aligns the project with the organization's broader strategy, making sure you're rowing in the right direction. It also guides decision-making and how you handle change. Then, it integrates how you manage both risks and opportunities. It unifies all your processes so everyone's working from the same playbook. And finally, and this is crucial, it builds in feedback loops so you're constantly learning and getting better. Now, it's super important to understand that this doesn't look the same for every single project. Not at all. In the real world, governance usually falls into one of two main models. And the one you pick really depends on the kind of project you're running. So on one side, you've got what's called structured governance. This is your more traditional top-down model. Think of a formal group, like a PMO or a specific governance board that has oversight. Then on the other end of the spectrum, you have self-governance. This is way more common in agile environments, where the team itself is empowered and collectively accountable for steering the project. And this table here does a really nice job of breaking it all down. Structured governance, that's your go-to for predictable projects where control is absolutely key. Think about building a skyscraper. You need that rigid oversight. Self-governance, on the other hand, is built for the fast-paced, adaptive world of agile projects. But there's a challenge, right? The big risk with self-governance is that without crystal clear communication, you can end up with fragmented decisions, where one part of the team has no idea what the other is doing. But here's the thing, no matter which model you choose, whether it's structured, self-governed, or maybe some kind of hybrid of the two, effective governance always boils down to three key components. If you can get these three things right, you'll have a seriously powerful engine for delivering value. And these three pieces form this really elegant, powerful cycle. First, you set your target metrics. What does success actually look like in measurable terms? Second, you establish your signaling mechanisms to see if you're on track to hit those targets. And third, you create feedback mechanisms to learn from what those signals are telling you so you can adjust your course. Okay, let's focus on those signaling mechanisms because this is where good governance really becomes your superpower. This is all about being proactive. Instead of just reacting when something breaks, it's like having a high-powered telescope that lets you see the road way up ahead. It gives you clear signals, red, yellow, or green, telling you what's coming long before it gets to you. And this is the absolute key difference. You have lagging indicators, like your final budget variance. They just tell you what already happened. It's literally like looking in your rearview mirror. It's useful, but it's history. Leading indicators, though, those are your crystal ball. They're predictive. So for example, if you notice that a few of your key stakeholders are suddenly canceling meetings or not answering emails, that is a huge leading indicator that something is going wrong. And it gives you a chance to fix it before the whole project goes off the rails. And all of this brings us to what is maybe the single most important takeaway for applying these concepts in the real world. And it's this. You can't just download some generic governance template and expect it to work. It just won't. You know, great governance is like a perfectly tailored suit, not some one-size-fits-all t-shirt. It has to be designed to fit the project exactly. You have to ask yourself, are we in a highly regulated industry? What's our company culture like? Is this a pretty straightforward project, or is it incredibly complex? All of these factors are going to shape the kind of governance that you need. And this final quote here just nails it. The goal is never to pile on as much process and bureaucracy as possible. It's about finding that perfect sweet spot of just enough governance, the right amount to guide the project effectively without bogging everything down. So as we wrap up, I'll leave you with this question to think about for your own work. Take a hard look at your projects. Is your governance framework just a series of checkboxes designed to prove compliance? Or is it a living, breathing system, thoughtfully designed to guide every single decision toward delivering the maximum possible value? Because really, the answer to that question makes all the difference.